Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my BookTube Spin number 5 video. The BookTube Spin is a TBR game that was brought to BookTube by Rick McDonnell. I believe it's based off of a game from the blogging Bookdiverse. The idea is that you create a list of 20 books based on whatever criteria you like that you would be okay to read within the next quarter. You have to make that list before Rick, in this case, spins a digital wheel with, numbers to correlate to the 20 books. And whatever number he lands on, you have to read that book. So that's why I've, for instance, posted to Twitter a few days ago my list of 20 before watching his video where he chose the numbers of the books that we now have to read in the next quarter. And of course everyone's reading different books based off of their own lists. I said numbers because actually Rick has taken to spinning twice. Technically speaking, I guess the idea is you could read 2 books in the quarter, but I am so full up with things. I have book clubs and personal goals and the BookTube Prize for 2022, which is starting up in February. And in fact, just recently I submitted my votes for the long lists in fiction and nonfiction. I printed out the lists and did my research and voted for them and signed up as a judge. So I'm pretty sure I will be judging the octafinals starting in February, and then I'll have 6 books to read by the end of this quarter just through that. So that's a very long-winded way to say that I will only be reading one of the 2 books that he chose, but I'm excited because it adds an extra dimension to my gaming, which I will explain in time, but for now I do want to give a little bit of a recap of all 20 books that I chose, and I have some cool graphics that I will put on the screen right now. So I divided my books into 4 sections, starting with Jewish fiction, and these are all new books that I haven't used in this TBR game before. So starting with number 1, we have Winter Kept Us Warm by Anne Rife, which follows friends through 6 decades and multiple continents. Number 2 is You'll Miss Me When I'm Gone by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which is young adult Israeli fiction about 2 sisters who go in different directions after they test themselves for a rare genetic disease. Number 3 is Secrets and Shadows by Roberta Silman. A couple confronts their past after the fall of the Berlin Wall. Number 4 is Caspian Rain by Gina B. Nahai. A young girl tries to save her family during the dawn of the Iranian Revolution. And number 5 is The Come Down by Rebecca Frumkin. It's a comic book about a drug dealer and an addict having to band together. Next, I move on to general fiction, which is also 5 completely new to this game books, starting with number 6, 4 Sundays by Tola Rotimi Abraham. 4 siblings, 2 decades in Nigeria. Number 7 is The Bass Rock by Evie Wilde. 3 women in 3 different time periods and the same sexism ruling their lives. Number 8 is White Elephant by Julie Langsdorff. It's suburban satire taking place near Washington, D.C., which is where I live. Number 9 is The Sound of One Hand Clapping by Richard Flanagan. It's family drama in mid-20th century Tanzania. And then number 10 is The Caregiver by Samuel Park, a mother-daughter story of care, rebellion, big and small, and immigration in 1980s Rio de Janeiro and California. A lot going on there. Moving into science fiction, if you've watched my other BookTube spins, you will have seen most of these. Starting with 11, Provenance by Anne Leckie. A fugitive looks to reclaim stolen treasure in space and finds herself embroiled in an alien plot, literally. Number 12 is Ancestral Night by Elizabeth Bear. A routine salvage mission in space goes awry when an ancient technology is uncovered. Number 13 is Tomorrow's Kin by Nancy Kress. The aliens come to us on Earth, and then we work together to defeat a virus. Cue the COVID joke. Number 14 is Dark Orbit by Carolyn Ives Gilman. Alien contact on a distant planet with more of a murder mystery plot than my usual, but we will go with it. And number 15 is Martians Abroad by Carrie Vaughn. This is YA about a young Martian girl who dreams of spacefaring but ends up getting sent to Earth instead. Womp womp. And finally, with fantasy, these also have been on my other TBR spins before, but I am very excited for this very Queenie, royalty-centric collection, starting with number 16, The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin, which is about an estranged daughter who is named heir to the king and thrust into a power struggle. Number 17 is The Unwilling by Kelly Braffett. A companion to a prince, born with special powers, also finds herself prey to political machinations. Number 18, The Vanished Queen by Lisbeth Campbell. A woman vows to take down a despotic king and, surprise, surprise, finds herself embroiled in court politics. Number 19 is A Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kozloff. An orphaned princess becomes a guerrilla fighter and must assemble a group of rebels to take back her kingdom. And finally, number 20 is The Waking Land by Callie Bates. A young woman returns to her magical homeland after she's accused of her foster father/king's murder. Okay, and so after all that, Rick spun 2 numbers, and the first number he spun was number 8, which for me is White Elephant by Julie Langsdorff, a book I in fact own, unlike most of the books on this list. So that should be a reason, I guess, for me to get to this. But this is a general fiction book, which is exactly the type of book I read for BookTube Spin number 4. In fact, I think I read book number 8 before, which was Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout, which I loved. But anyway, this feels very similar. And so one of my personal rules for the BookTube Spin as it is now is that of the 2 books that Rick spins, I want to choose the one that is from the category I read from least recently for this game. And so the second book he spun was number 13, which is Tomorrow's Kin by Nancy Kress, which is in my science fiction section, and I haven't read any science fiction for this game yet, so I decided I wanted to go with this one. Even though, as you see, I don't have a physical copy right now, I will be going to my library sometime in February or March to get this going. Okay, so that about covers it for me right now. I will leave the Goodreads links for all 20 of these books listed down below in case you're curious about any of the titles. I thought I would be back on this channel to talk about the National Jewish Book Awards, which are the 2021 awardees are being announced later this week, but they have been pushing the date back. It used to be on Wednesday the 19th, and now it's going to be Thursday the 20th. And I feel like, I don't know, they might be pushing it back more this week, who knows, and it might be nice to have a little time to think through the books from that list I want to talk about. So instead, maybe I'll push that to next week, video for next week, and focus instead on another tag video. Last month, Weston Ritchie tagged me in the Would You Read It challenge, where you pick random books and share the first sentence or so of each of the books and ask your audience if they would be interested in reading them. And I did that for a variety of books I've read in 2021. And I thought for funsies, I could go ahead this month and jump back a year and pick some books that I read in 2020 and revisit those opening paragraphs. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and thanks so much to Rick for bringing another fun TBR game into my life. And I'll see you next time.